Whenever you scroll through the news lately, it feels like every single headline about artificial intelligence is pitching, a blockbuster disaster movie.
Yep, absolutely. It's all doom and gloom.
Right, just endless theories about mass layoffs and the total end of human utility. It's exhausting.
It really is. Sweeping panic everywhere.
Exactly. But welcome to another deep dive, where today we are completely stepping away from that theoretical panic.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, right. Instead, we are looking at something incredibly grounded. We've got our hands on a fascinating personal manuscript. It's titled Jobs That Will Grow and Disappear in the AI Era.
And it's a great read.
It really is. So our mission for you today is to unpack exactly what this technological shift looks like on the ground in the actual trenches of the modern workday.
Yeah, and the value of this specific source is that it isn't, it's not some academic paper written in an ivory tower somewhere.
Right, no theoretical fluff.
Exactly. Nor is it like a tech CEO making grand sweeping predictions to boost their stock.
Definitely not.
We are looking at a gritty, boots-on-the-ground perspective written by a nearly 60-year-old remote worker.
Which is such a unique angle.
It is. This author is deeply embedded in the medical and pharmaceutical field, and they're currently working remotely for an Indian company.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're getting a daily lived experience of someone navigating two very different corporate cultures while, new technology is actively rewiring their entire industry.
That real-world friction is what makes this so compelling, I think. This deep dive cuts right through the abstract noise and offers a slightly spicy look at how daily corporate life is shifting.
Very spicy at times, yeah.
Yeah, right down to the mundane tasks you and I do every single day. We are looking at what happens when futuristic technology actually crashes into, like, a Tuesday morning staff meeting.
I mean, the most crucial takeaways here have very little to do with software code or processing power.
Really?
Yeah, the author highlights the unexpected ways human psychology, ego, and traditional corporate culture are reacting to these tools.
Oh, that makes sense. People trying to protect their turf.
Exactly. We're seeing a real-time exposure of vulnerabilities in how we've structured white-collar work for the last, 50 years.
Okay, let's unpack this. We should start exactly where the author's workday begins, which is the immediate, undeniable change in remote office communication.
The meeting minutes.
Yes, the manuscript details the author's experience with automated meeting minutes. But the mechanism here is what's vital. It isn't just basic speech-to-text dictation.
Right, it's way beyond that now.
The virtual meetings are conducted entirely in English, but the author has their system interface set to Japanese.
So what happens?
Well, the moment the call disconnects, a flawless, fully translated, contextually accurate Japanese transcript is just sitting in their inbox.
That's wild.
Right. The administrative friction of cross-border communication has just vanished.
And the ripple effects of that vanishing friction are massive. The author points out how traditionally an entire layer of junior employees existed essentially to be human tape recorders.
Oh yeah, the entry-level grind.
Exactly. They would frantically take notes, struggle to translate the nuance of foreign speakers, draft a summary, send it up the chain for review, and just, wait for approvals.
Which takes forever.
Right. That entire workflow, which used to consume hours or even days of payroll, is erased in milliseconds.
It effectively acts as a universal translator and a personal secretary rolled into one.
Yep.
Seeing that play out practically makes me wonder about the broader implications for education,
Sure.
If the language barrier is dissolving this rapidly, does learning a second language even matter anymore?
That is a huge question, and the source tackles that exact psychological shift.
What do they say?
The author observed that this level of instant translation ruthlessly widens the gap between highly motivated workers and unmotivated ones.
Wow. How so?
Well, in the past, an employee could hide their lack of engagement behind the busy work. You could excuse your lack of strategic contribution by saying, you were too focused on capturing accurate notes.
Oh, I see.
Or you could say you were struggling to parse the English being spoken.
Right, blaming the language barrier.
Exactly. Automation removes those hiding spots entirely. If the perfect notes are generated instantly and you still have nothing valuable to add to the strategy,
You're exposed.
100%. Your lack of engagement is entirely exposed. You can't just zone out anymore.
Wow. So the busy work used to be a fantastic shield for mediocrity.
It really was.
To prove how rapidly this shield is dissolving, the author shares a brilliant anecdote about translating ancient Indian astrology texts.
Oh, I loved this part.
It's so good. 5 years ago, running these highly specialized esoteric texts through AI translation was completely useless.
It's just a mess.
Yeah, the output was a mess of question marks, broken syntax, and unnatural phrasing because the AI couldn't grasp the obscure context.
But fast forward to today.
Right. Today, the mechanism has evolved from simple word replacement to deep contextual understanding. That same translation software is now producing natural, fluid Japanese.
And the author openly admits it's sometimes better written than what they could produce themselves.
Yeah, which is humbling, I'm sure. The technology is so seamless that their Indian boss is instantly reading complex Japanese emails without a second thought. The friction is just completely gone.
It's incredible. The author even realizes that parliamentary stenographers, professionals who spend decades mastering this highly skilled career of capturing and formatting spoken word to exact government standards,
Yeah.
they will soon be entirely obsolete.
Wow. Decades of training. Just gone.
Yep. The AI doesn't just hear the words. It automatically assigns speaker tags, filters out conversational filler, and formats the text perfectly.
That is so stark. The ultimate takeaway from the author's morning routine is pretty clear then.
Yeah.
Language skills alone, like the mechanical ability to translate English to Japanese or vice versa, are no longer a unique selling proposition.
Not in the global corporate world, no.
The author defines the new required currency as language plus expertise. The translation's free, right? Therefore, the only thing of remaining value is the actual substance of the idea you're trying to communicate.
Exactly. It shifts the entire bottleneck of productivity.
Right.
If the language barrier is removed, the only limitation left is the quality of the worker's actual industry knowledge.
Which provides a perfect bridge to the next major casualty in the author's sights. If AI can instantly parse a foreign language, parsing the rigid, formulaic language of a legal contract is basically child's play.
Oh, yeah. White-collar routines are getting gutted.
The AI is starting to expose the artificial complexity that gets deliberately built into higher-level corporate jobs.
Yes.
The author has this beautifully cynical yet totally refreshing take on the traditional process of legal contract checking.
What's fascinating here is how the author describes the death of the illusion of complexity.
The illusion of complexity. I love that phrasing.
It's so accurate. Corporate culture has trained us to revere legal review as an impenetrable, highly intellectual process that only a select few can manage.
Right. People in suits with high hourly rates.
Exactly. But the reality, as the author argues, is that AI can now cross-reference a standard contract against global databases, flagging core problems, hidden liabilities, or missing clauses in a matter of minutes.
And the author notes that large corporations often have massive legal or administrative departments full of staff who deliberately stretch out this exact review process.
To justify their existence.
Yes. They take a task the AI flags in 60 seconds and artificially inflate it to take days or even weeks.
Unbelievable.
They do this purely to make their jobs look incredibly difficult, essentially building a moat around their role to justify their continued employment.
And the author is directly calling out this behavior.
Yeah, arguing that these departments are just dressing up what is fundamentally simple pattern recognition as complex, bespoke legal work.
The introduction of AI shatters that illusion completely.
It really does.
The sheer act of a human sitting down, reading a 50-page document, and manually highlighting basic problematic clauses is dead.
Dead and buried.
Pretending it still takes a week to do the initial flagging just makes that department look obsolete and inefficient to any leadership team that's actually paying attention.
So if you look at your own daily workflow right now, it is really worth asking, how much of your job is actually just pattern recognition dressed up as complex work?
That's a scary question for a lot of people.
It is. The author is signaling that these are the first tasks on the chopping block.
It forces a difficult reckoning for a lot of white-collar professionals. However, the author does provide a clear path forward.
Okay, good. What's the survival strategy?
The surviving value for these workers lies entirely in understanding the broader business context. The new job isn't to find the error.
Right.
It's taking the risks that the AI flagged in 60 seconds, applying real-world, nuanced human judgment regarding the company's specific goals, and actively advising business leaders on how to proceed.
Oh, I see.
The role has to shift from being a passive proofreader to an active strategic advisor.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, though. We've established that routine white-collar bureaucracy is being hollowed out.
Right.
But the most jaw-dropping revelation in this manuscript isn't about office workers at all.
No, it's not.
It's what happens when AI meets physical, highly skilled manufacturing, specifically in the pharmaceutical industry.
This part blew my mind.
The author uses a brilliant analogy comparing pharmaceutical manufacturing to cooking, but the implications are just staggering.
The cooking analogy is a perfect way to visualize the industrial shift.
Yeah, walk us through it.
Well, the author explains that structurally, pharmaceutical manufacturing looks a lot like a high-end kitchen. You have a massive vat, you add specific chemical ingredients, you stir, and you rigorously control the temperature to trigger a reaction.
Right. But the contrast is in the regulatory environment.
Exactly.
Because in a high-end restaurant, a master chef's unique improvised tweak, adding a little extra heat, a pinch of salt, based on the humidity that day, that is what makes a dish legendary.
It elevates the chef to an artist.
Yes. But the author points out that in pharma, facilities must operate under strict GMP standards, good manufacturing practice. Under these global regulatory standards, human tweaks are not just discouraged.
They are explicitly forbidden.
Forbidden. Absolute, unwavering consistency across every single factory globally is the only acceptable outcome. Because a single degree of temperature shift in a 10,000-liter bioreactor could turn a life-saving medicine into a toxic hazard.
Which is terrifying. And this specific regulatory demand highlights a profound cultural difference the author observed between traditional Japanese manufacturing and their current Indian company.
Great, let's get into that.
Traditionally, Japanese manufacturing relied heavily on the intuition of highly skilled veteran engineers making on-the-fly micro-adjustments.
The author refers to this traditional approach as Saji Kagan, which translates roughly to spoon measurements or nuanced adjustments.
Yeah.
The veteran engineer would look at the chemical reaction in the vat and use their decades of intuition to say, the reaction is a little sluggish today because of the ambient humidity. Let's increase the agitation speed slightly.
Like a master chef.
Exactly. It was treated as an art form, a real testament to human mastery over the machine.
And that mastery was a massive point of cultural pride. But in the author's Indian company, this human intervention is actively and aggressively engineered out of the process.
Really? Completely removed?
Yes. Instead of relying on a veteran's intuition, the company uses AI to create a digital twin.
A digital twin?
Yeah, the AI simulates hundreds of parameters digitally: temperature, pressure, solvent volume, ambient humidity, and it runs countless scenarios before the physical mixing ever begins.
Oh, wow. So once that AI simulation determines the perfect process, human operators literally just push a single button to start the batch.
Just one button. And the author explains that the system is physically and digitally locked.
Locked.
Humans absolutely cannot intervene, even if their intuition tells them something could be optimized. The system removes the human variable entirely to ensure mathematically perfect quality control.
Wait, are you saying the Japanese engineers were almost too good? Like their individual brilliance and intuition actually became a liability?
That is exactly what I'm saying. By relying on human skill and the pride of Saji Kagan, they delayed their transition to digital systemic perfection.
That is tragic, in a way.
It is. Their legacy of excellence became a trap that blinded them to the next evolution of manufacturing.
Wow.
The new global standard in these highly regulated environments isn't highly skilled human intervention. The standard is zero human intervention.
Zero.
The ultimate goal is a manufacturing process engineered so flawlessly by AI that a human couldn't possibly improve it. In this new industrial reality, humans are relegated purely to supervision and anomaly detection.
Your job is to watch the machine run, not to help the machine work. So if human intervention is being systematically exposed as inefficient and white-collar legal bureaucracy, and it is being literally locked out of highly skilled pharmaceutical manufacturing,
Right.
where exactly do humans fit into the future economy?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yep.
And the author provides a very explicit blueprint for survival, categorizing the economic landscape into growing versus disappearing jobs.
Let's hear the bad news first. What's disappearing?
The disappearing jobs all share one fatal flaw. They can be routinized.
Okay, so if a task follows a predictable pattern, it's already gone.
Pretty much. Simple proofreading, initial contract reviews, and basic coding are evaporating. But the author makes a particularly sharp observation about the death of the traditional humanities generalist.
Oh man, we all know this archetype. The corporate jack of all trades who has a respectable liberal arts degree, excellent soft skills, but no hard, quantifiable technical expertise.
Yeah, the people who usually act as routers of information, moving data between departments.
Right.
The AI routes information far better than any human generalist ever could. Because of this, the author notes a massive shift in hiring practices.
How so?
Corporations are already moving away from the traditional model of mass hiring fresh university graduates to train them from scratch in general corporate culture.
That used to be the gold standard.
It did, but instead, the hiring budgets are pivoting heavily toward mid-career experienced professionals who bring deep, niche knowledge to the table on day one.
That makes total sense. You cannot train a generalist to compete with an AI that already possesses a general understanding of every industry.
Exactly.
To replace the generalist model, the author lays out a golden formula for the jobs that will actually grow.
Yep.
And that formula is expertise multiplied by AI literacy.
Yes, expertise times AI literacy is the defining equation of this new era.
And the manuscript gives a brilliant, unexpected example of this. The author has a friend who is merely a hobbyist in astrology.
I thought this was such a cool example.
Right. But this friend utilized Claude Code, which is an advanced AI coding assistant, to radically speed up the development of their own specialized astrology software.
And the key here isn't just that the AI wrote the code.
No, the friend had the niche expertise. They understood the highly complex logic of ephemeris data and retrograde planetary movements.
Very niche.
Extremely. And they used the AI to map that complex logic into a structured data architecture. The human provided the niche architectural vision, and the AI executed the technical heavy lifting.
It's the perfect partnership. But the flip side of that digital expertise is a surprising resurgence in manual blue-collar jobs.
Oh, yeah. The author specifically highlights electricians, welders, and plumbers as incredibly secure professions.
Which is so true. I mean, an AI cannot crawl into the crawl space of a house built in 1950.
What about it?
Assess the chaotic, undocumented spaghetti of pipes and figure out why a joint is leaking.
Right. The on-site physical judgment required in those messy real-world environments is simply too chaotic to be automated by a pristine digital system.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the author highlights a truly fascinating educational implication.
Oh, I found this part deeply unsettling, honestly.
Think about the skill set that earns a student top grades in a traditional educational system.
Meticulous rote memorization, perfectly executing repetitive instructions, and coloring inside the lines.
Exactly. The author argues that those exact traits are becoming entirely useless in modern office work.
Because an AI will always out-memorize you.
Always, and it will always execute a formatting instruction more flawlessly than you.
Right.
But paradoxically, those same meticulous, highly focused traits might be incredibly valuable right now in blue-collar or specialized technical trades.
Places where extreme physical precision in a chaotic, real-world environment is something AI just cannot touch. So the traditional valedictorian skill set is suddenly the master plumber's skill set.
Yeah, pretty much.
While the creative strategic rebel is the one who survives the corporate office call.
It's a total inversion.
It is. This brings us to the practical application of all this theory. To ground these sweeping macroeconomic shifts, we have to look at how the author is personally navigating this landscape at nearly 60 years old.
They aren't just theorizing about adaptation, they are actively living it.
Their commitment is genuinely impressive. The author practices English every single day using an AI voice app.
Every day.
And they break down the mechanics of why this is so effective. These AI tutors can converse with you endlessly, they never lose patience, and they dynamically adapt to your specific proficiency level in real time.
Which is better than most human tutors, honestly.
Yeah. The author confidently asserts that young people today could become completely fluent in a second language within 1 to 2 years without ever paying tuition for a traditional language school.
The tools for radical self-improvement and upskilling have been completely democratized.
Yes, they have.
But the most strategic, actionable advice the author synthesizes for the reader is about how to audit your own current job.
Let's get into the audit.
To survive the transition, you must ruthlessly divide your current workload into 4 distinct buckets.
Okay, what are they?
Routine, judgment, interpersonal, and creative.
Routine, judgment, interpersonal, and creative. Let's actually look at what goes into those buckets. The routine bucket is anything predictable, formatting spreadsheets, drafting standard email replies, or summarizing meetings.
Stuff you can do on autopilot.
Right. Then judgment involves taking data and making a strategic choice based on your company's specific context.
Yeah.
Interpersonal is building actual trust and negotiating with clients. And creative is generating the original direction or new product ideas.
So the challenge the author issues to you, the listener, is to dedicate just 1 hour a week to this audit. Look specifically at that routine bucket.
Just 1 hour?
1 hour. Your mission during that hour is to actively touch different AI tools and figure out how to automate those predictable tasks.
Oh,
Your ultimate goal is to achieve what the author calls dual-wielding status.
I love that term, dual wield.
It's great, right? This means holding deep, irreplaceable niche expertise in one hand while seamlessly wielding AI as a tool in the other hand to instantly clear out the routine bureaucracy.
Achieving that dual wielding combo is the only way to safeguard your career. And the author is living proof that it's never too late to start.
Definitely not.
They mention that they are actively using AI to execute video editing, despite being almost 60
Yeah.
and having absolutely no formal background in media production.
That is so inspiring.
It is. The profound takeaway here is that being a slow or even slightly clumsy worker is entirely fine in this new era.
Because the AI will smooth out the clumsiness.
Exactly. And it will accelerate the slowness. As long as you possess original ideas and the strategic planning skills to direct the AI, you win.
You're the director now.
Right. The meticulously perfect order taker, the employee who passively waits to be told exactly what to do and then executes it flawlessly, that is the person whose market value is currently plummeting to zero.
Because perfection in basic execution is no longer a rare skill. It is a cheap, readily available commodity.
Yep.
Originality in direction and strategy is the new premium asset.
So what does this all mean? When we zoom out from the automated meeting transcripts and the locked pharmaceutical vats, the author's ultimate conclusion is surprisingly optimistic.
It really is.
AI is not arriving to steal jobs. It is arriving to completely redefine the nature of work itself.
The technology strips away the busy work and forces us to confront where actual human value lies.
Yes.
The author's perspective makes it clear that we shouldn't waste energy fearing the technology. Instead, we must focus all our energy on mastering it.
Right.
The refusal to adapt and the resistance to AI are what make a worker obsolete, not the AI itself.
The mandate is clear. Master the tool before the tool masters your industry. And that leaves us with a lingering thought for you to chew on as we wrap up.
Yeah, something to think about.
The author made that incredible point earlier about rote memorization. The ability to repeat exactly what is written in a textbook to earn an A grade is being devalued in the modern office.
Rapidly devalued.
Right. So if the entire foundation of our current education system is still built on that exact obsolete metric of success, what does the school of the future actually need to look like?
Yeah, it's a massive question.
Are we currently actively preparing an entire generation of students to perfectly execute tasks for a job market that has already ceased to exist?
It's definitely something to consider.
Something to think about the next time you see a curriculum heavily focused on standardized testing over creative problem solving. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning and keep exploring.